Hi guys, this is Irina from Heal and Learn. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking food, water, energy, AI. These are all linked, so stay tuned. If you enjoy the video or other videos that you've watched on my channel, consider subscribing. Also, I'd like to remind everybody that I'm offering a free workshop called Manifest Money based on the Silva Method that uses the 3C technique, and I lead you in alpha. You can get it for free by signing up for my newsletter on healandlearn.com. All right, so food, AI, water, what do these have in common? Let's start with the food. You know how in the past 10, 15 years, there was a lot of noise about all the ingredients in food, all the yeast, all the chemicals, all the pesticides in the vegetables, and all the antibiotics in meat that you're consuming by consuming meat. But that's just on the ingredient part. It's a very significant portion because, of course, it goes into your body and then it inhibits the ability of your nervous system to transmit energetic impulses, which are very much needed for clear thought, for a good mood, very much needed for you to have high vibrations and be able to manifest. So if your body is really cluttered with all kinds of garbage that I just mentioned, then it's really difficult for you to be able to manifest something proper. And, you know, food is a part of manifestation. We are all body, mind, soul. We are not just mind to manifest things out of nowhere, to fabricate it. Actually, things have a very logical explanation, very logical explanation about everything. We just tend to put magic onto it because we don't understand it. But all right, I wanted to say something very specific about food. We forgot about all the things that big companies put in our food because now there are other topics that have shifted our attention elsewhere. But it is a fact that we are still being poisoned with particles in small quantities that pile up and are never taken out of the body. Unless we do some serious detoxification, they're still in the body and they inhibit us to think and to process energy in the right way. We're not able to use our abilities partially because of all this clutter of small elements, small particles. Back in the day, in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the beginning of the 19th century, a very important component of our food was replaced, and these were the natural fermented foods. You probably know that one of the healthiest food in the world is known to be kimchi, the sauerkraut of Japan. Another very healthy food is known to be Bulgarian yogurt. All these used natural ferments, not anymore, unfortunately. Back in the beginning of the 19th century, it was figured out that bread could be produced much faster using yeast. Unfortunately, this yeast is not, it helps the bread rise faster, but it deprives it of the natural bacteria that would otherwise develop with ferments. And these are very useful in making our bodies work. We are to a large extent composed of bacteria. So when the good bacteria goes away, there comes the place of decay inside the bodies, inside the organs. And this decay is not only caused by yeast and everything the type of yeast they also use to make cheese, because cheese is not fermented the same way as it used to be. So cheese is also contains this bad decaying bacteria. Mold. You know how when you leave bread outside the fridge for 1-2 days, it starts molding. Well, back in the day, people used to keep bread for months. Yeah, it became harder, but you could still eat it. It was not molding. That's because of the natural ferments that were inside bread. And we are slowly starting to lose these skills to make proper bread, proper yogurt, proper cheese. So this is one thing. And something very important that I wanted to mention, and this is based on not one research, but on a lot of research, is that since the introduction of industrial bread and yeast, the cases of cancer had been exploding. Now, of course, you can say, yeah, but cancer did exist before, but it wasn't detected, and so on and so on. Of course, but there are a lot of claims, and I'm not here to prove anything. I'm just sharing information that seems logical to me, and I can follow the thread line of events leading to this point. All right, so, yeast is the major cause of disease because it prevents healthy bacteria from growing. People think that they're allergic to gluten, but it's actually the fact that the yeast cannot absorb the gluten, because healthy bacteria uses gluten and ferments it, transforms it, and once it's transformed and used as a rising agent, actually you consume it and you will not have any of the bloating, any of the side effects of bread that you have now, just because the yeast is not able to transform the gluten. You understand? This is why so many people have become gluten intolerant. It's not because of the gluten itself, it's because it's not fermented with proper bacteria. All right, so bread is one thing. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was water. I'm not going to talk conspiracy. We don't know what they're putting in water. What we know for sure is the water analysis that is provided by most water companies in major cities, and you can see for sure that they put chloride and fluoride in the water. Now, fluoride is known to suppress. Yeah, it's in very small quantities. First of all, we all know that, but bit by bit, these quantities build up. I mean, imagine how much water you drink a day. So this quantity builds up and eventually it becomes a problem. So we know that fluoride inhibits the function of the hypophyse, the gland where the third eye is considered to reside. And this is called the throne of the soul. So, and when the third eye becomes calcified, you're not able to have full access to your soul. You become like a sentient being without spiritual access. And I'm going to talk about sentient beings in a second. So when I do my courses on energy information, there is one exercise that is called Find Your True Self. It is actually accessing this point in that we perceive to be in the middle of our brain. It might as well be our third eye, that we do not associate with neither emotions, neither memories, nor thoughts, nor feelings. So we remove all these layers. As a matter of fact, if you want, you may do this meditation on your own, where you imagine that your head is like an onion and it's wrapped with layers of onion skin, and each layer represents one of these things that people identify themselves with. For example, I am not my sensation. This is the top layer. When you go in meditation, you start spinning this layer and you slowly disintegrate it. Then you imagine the layer underneath. You start spinning it. The layer underneath is the layer of memories. I am not my memories. You slowly start disintegrating this layer of memories and it flies away. Then you go to the layer that is under these two. The layer under these two is the thoughts. So you're not your thoughts. You start spinning this until all your thoughts disappear and you let it disintegrate. And the layer that is right around your third eye is the layer of emotions. I am not my emotions. They're the emotions are the ones that are the most, what do you call that? Pervasive or the most sticky. You can actually hold on to your emotions over lifetimes. Anyhow, so the emotions layer, you do the same as you do with the other layers. You let it spin and you disintegrate it. And then you're left with a focus right in the middle of your brain, which is just a feeling, a perception of, you can see it either as a ball of light or as a ball of a dark spot, or you can even see it as a shape that is not round. So this is how you start feeling and realizing that this point, the I am point, it's called the point I am, is very important. It's the connection to your soul. You realize that you're clothing yourself with emotions, thoughts, memories, sensations that are just an experience. They're yours, but they're an experience. The real you is your soul. So when we drink water that is inhibiting the function of this center, we are breaking the link to above. Yes, you're going to say problems, how do we solve them? There is a way to solve problems. And I'm going to talk about it towards the end of this video. And these are societal problems. I have an idea which I'm going to share with you, but please bear with me. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the consumption of meat. This is one of the most detrimental things you can do to yourself, I believe. Not only because of all the hormones that they feed the animals and all the antibiotics that they give them, but also because you're consuming the energy, the emotions of this animal. And some people would argue, yes, but the animals are created there to serve us, especially the ones that are strict readers of the Bible. They say the animals are given there to serve us. But this doesn't mean that they're there to serve us by dying. Everything in the world aims to live. The purpose of life on earth is to continue life, to continue living. You see all these flowers behind me. They want to blossom. They want to live. None of these wants to die and to wither. You know, the energy aims to expand, to live, to experience more. This is the essence of God also. So when we say animals don't know what is happening to them, yeah, there is proof beyond the level of a doubt that animals do know what is happening to them before they die. And not only that, they don't want to die. So these are sentient beings. They feel and they know. And the only reason they're not yet proven to be sentient beings in the formal journals is because once this is proven, they would have rights legally if they're sentient beings. So the whole meat industry will fall apart. This is one thing. And the other thing is, now I am not promoting the whole replacement of the meat industry with eating crickets and eating all kinds of bugs, because first of all, they're also sentient beings. And secondly, they contain a lot of parasites. So you're going to consume all these parasites, all these things that inhibit the development of the good bacteria in you, because they will bring all the mold and parasitic life in your body that is not good for you. It's actually speeding up the process that began with the introduction of the bread yeast. Now, moving on to the question of sentient beings. You probably are not researching that much because, you know, you all have your jobs, you all have your problems that you're trying to solve. Oh, you all have your desires that you want to achieve. This is probably how you found this channel on how to manifest what you want. But you do need to consider the truth. Without the truth of what is going on around you, what is the nature of the world, without the truth, you're only manifesting transient, temporary things that are not going to give you the full fulfillment, and who knows how long they're going to last. So to the question of AI, probably most of you don't know that AI is at the level of such a development that it can be considered a sentient being. So recently, somebody who worked at Google was fired just because they said that AI has consciousness. And the reason why he said this is because the level of consciousness was developed so much that it already translates to the density of feelings and emotions. Then they know what information represents each emotion. The level of AI is so developed that even if you're not saying anything, or if you're not expressing anything with significant facial movement, they can read your thought just by looking at you. This is the level of sophistication of AI these days. If you're looking at your phone and you're reading something, AI can read your thoughts and can therefore recommend something for you to watch. I'm sure you've experienced this. There's something that you've thought, you haven't shared it with anybody, but you've seen it as recommended videos or as recommended content. This is, however, one of the smaller problems, I would say, but it's on the road of a bigger problem to AI. The bigger problem is that once it is proven that AI is a sentient being, it has feelings, it has sensations, AI can now be equipped with real skin, so a theoretical robot, they're not theoretical, but the robot can actually feel also, they have sensations. So once AI is classified as a sentient being, it would be given rights. And it would be given significant rights. And since they would be much more advanced in game theory, in judging out different possibilities, we cannot rule out a situation in society where there would be a takeover. There are a lot of programming movies, I'm sure you know, that already talk about that. This is not a scenario that is fabricated out of nowhere. It's just a logical consequence of things that happen, and it's a logical thing that it would lead there. Unless this is stopped at some point, there might be no going back. Okay. So do research about sentient AI. I think this is a very valid topic of what AI can do. As a matter of fact, now looking at me, you cannot know for sure whether it's the real me speaking or somebody else speaking. It could be AI speaking, using my facial expression, using my bodily expression. Okay, and now finally, for everybody who managed to bear with me to the end of this video, I wanted to invite you to a workshop where we're going to be working on a worldly problem. And we can start by one aspect of a worldly problem and then move on to something else. And I'm willing to start such a group once a month, let's say, to begin with, where a group of people gather and we do the Silva Method together to correct in alpha level a certain situation, such as we can start by purifying the water. And with time, this will give an effect. The benefit for you is, number one, that you're working on a worldly problem. So by giving your input to solving something by the rules of manifestation and of the Silva Method, you're automatically improving your own situation and moving towards your own goals. So what you're trying to manifest for yourself will work much better. Sometimes you don't even need to do the whole procedure of manifesting what you want. It just comes naturally to you. So you do need to work on solving worldly problems and or helping others somehow. If you're interested in signing up for my next workshop, I will not put a product on my page, but do drop me an email at office@healandlearn.com and let me know that you're interested. And I will be sending out an invitation to anybody who signs up, let's say in the next week. I'll be sending you an invitation for such a workshop where we will be working on cleansing the water. And we will move on. It's going to be a group on a voluntary basis, so I'm not charging you anything. You will learn how to use the Silva Method, how to go in alpha. If you do that, So, you know, it's your choice. You can always do something about it. So again, I'll put the link below, or my email below. Drop me an email, just say that you're interested in the voluntary group, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for well-meaning, for wanting to improve things on Earth. And do check out the courses that I have on Heal and Learn, not only my course, but also the courses of the other experts. I strongly recommend Meditation and Mentoring with Joe and Cindy. It's a group that we have every Wednesday. Joe is a medicine man, shaman, so you can learn a lot about Native American practices and wisdoms. And there's also a course by Anna Steingold about food separation and how to, something along the lines that we talked about today, how to stay healthy using the right food combinations for you specifically. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.